Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we are stepping into one of the most difficult and profound mysteries of our human experience. It is a question that has kept many of us awake in the dark hours of the night, a question that can shake the very foundations of our faith. Why do the young die? Why does God allow a life so full of promise and potential to be cut short before it has truly begun? It feels like an interruption, a mistake, a tragedy without a rhyme or reason. But today, we are looking at this painful mystery through the eyes of Saint Padre Pio. We know him as the stigmatist, the miracle worker, the man who bore the wounds of Christ. But perhaps his greatest gift was his spiritual vision. For Padre Pio, the veil between this world and the next was incredibly thin. He did not guess what happened after death. He often saw it. He witnessed the journey of souls as clearly as we see people walking down the street. And today, we are going to explore a specific, powerful account where Padre Pio was given a vision of a young man taken too soon. Through this story, we are going to discover a truth that changes everything. That death is not measured by years, but by the readiness of the soul. We are going to walk with this young man's spirit as he navigates the shock of his departure, encounters the radiant truth of his guardian angel, and discovers that what seemed like a tragic end was actually a divine appointment. If you are grieving, or if you are simply seeking to understand the depth of God's providence, this story is for you. Padre Pio often said that we view life from the wrong side of the tapestry. We see the knots, the tangled threads, and the chaotic lack of pattern. But God sees the image from above. To understand the death of the young, we must try, just for a moment, to see with the eyes of the saint of Pietrelcina. There was a heaviness in the air at San Giovanni Rotondo whenever a tragedy struck the community. The friary was a place of miracles, yes, but it was also a hospital for the broken-hearted. People flocked to Padre Pio not just for physical healing, but to find meaning in their suffering. One day, a particular sorrow descended upon a family known to the friars. Their son, a young man in the prime of his youth, strong, vibrant, with his whole life seemingly mapped out before him, was taken in an instant. It was one of those sudden, jarring events, an accident. One moment he was laughing, planning for tomorrow, and the next, silence. For the parents, the world had collapsed. The shock was absolute. There is a unique kind of pain when a child dies. It reverses the natural order. It feels like a violation of the promise of life. They came to the monastery, crushed under the weight of that terrible phrase, too soon. They were asking the question we all ask, why? He had so much left to do. He had so much love left to give. But while the parents wept in the church, Padre Pio was in prayer, and in the silence of his contemplation, the walls of the physical world fell away. He was granted a grace, a window into the supernatural reality of what was actually happening at that very moment. He didn't just see the grieving parents. He saw the soul of the young man. Padre Pio saw the moment of separation. He described it later not as an end, but as a sudden, disorienting liberation. Imagine, if you will, the perspective of this young soul. The event of death had happened so quickly that there was no time for fear, no time for preparation in the earthly sense. One moment, the young man was engaged in the affairs of the world, perhaps walking down a street, perhaps working, his mind filled with the noise of the day, and in the blink of an eye, the noise stopped. Padre Pio perceived the soul standing there, hovering in a space that was neither fully here nor fully there. The first sensation was not pain, but confusion. The young man looked down and saw the commotion. He saw the crowd gathering. He saw his own body, lying still and broken, but he felt no pain from it. It was like looking at a coat he had just taken off and dropped on the floor. He felt a strange lightness, a clarity of mind that he had never possessed in life. He tried to speak to the people around him, to tell them he was fine, that he was standing right there, but his voice carried no sound in the heavy air of the earth. He reached out to touch the shoulder of a friend who was crying out his name, but his hand passed through them like a beam of light through glass. This is a moment Padre Pio spoke of often, the shock of the soul when it realizes that the material world, which seemed so solid and permanent, is actually the shadow. The soul is the reality. The young man was gripped by a sudden, profound realization: I have died. In that realization, a wave of panic tried to rise. The unfinished business of his life rushed at him. He thought of the words he hadn't said, the apologies he hadn't made, the dreams he hadn't fulfilled. He looked toward his home, thinking of his mother, and the agony of her grief hit him harder than his own death. He felt a desperate pull to go back, to re-enter the vessel, to finish the story he thought was his to write. But then, Padre Pio saw the atmosphere shift. The gray confusion of the earthly scene began to dissolve. A light, soft and pearlescent, began to bleed into the edges of the young man's vision. It wasn't the harsh glare of the sun. It was a light that felt like a presence, and out of that light stepped a figure. It was his guardian angel. Padre Pio had a lifelong, intimate relationship with his own guardian angel, whom he called his boyhood companion. He taught that our angels are not distant, mythical creatures, but our closest friends, the ones who know the secret history of our hearts better than we do ourselves. The young man's soul trembled. The angel was beautiful, terrifying in its majesty, yet overwhelmingly familiar. The young man realized, with a jolt of recognition, that he had felt this presence his entire life, in moments of sudden inspiration, in moments of unexplained comfort. In the times he had narrowly avoided danger, this being had been there. The angel did not speak with words, but with a direct communication of spirit. "Do not be afraid," the angel conveyed. "Your time is not measured by the ticking of the clock, but by the will of the Creator. You have not been taken too soon. You have been called by name." The young man, still tethered to his earthly attachments, argued in spirit, "But I was not ready. I have done nothing. My life, it was just starting." And here is where Padre Pio's insight offers us the greatest hope. He watched as the angel gently peeled away the young man's earthly understanding of accomplishment. The angel showed the soul a review of his life, but it wasn't a movie of his career or his worldly successes. It was a review of love. The young man saw a moment when he was a child, sharing his bread with a friend. He saw a moment where he held his tongue instead of speaking in anger. He saw the hidden prayers he had whispered when he was afraid. He saw the love he held for his parents, a love that remained pure despite the typical conflicts of growing up. The angel revealed to him that these moments were the true substance of his life. "You feel you are unfinished," the angel seemed to say, "because you look at what you did not build with your hands, but look at what you built with your heart." However, the vision was not just one of comfort. It was one of purification. Padre Pio saw that the young man's soul was still dusty with the attachments of the world. There was regret. There was the sticky nature of minor sins and worldly desires that still clung to him. The light of God, which began to grow brighter behind the angel, was a light of absolute truth. And in that truth, the young man saw himself clearly for the first time. He saw his selfishness, his wasted time, the moments he had turned away from grace. This is the fire of purgatory that Padre Pio spoke of so frequently. It is not a fire of wrath, it is a fire of love. It is the burning pain of realizing how much we were loved and how little we loved in return. The young man felt a searing ache, a longing to be united with that beautiful light, but a shameful realization that he was not yet ready to enter it. He felt too heavy for heaven. But the angel did not abandon him. The angel stood as a witness and a comfort. Padre Pio observed that the prayers of the living, the very prayers that were beginning to rise from the weeping family in the church below, were appearing in this spiritual realm as flashes of golden light. This is a crucial part of the teaching. The young man looked down and saw his mother praying the rosary, her tears falling onto the beads. He saw the friars chanting. He saw Padre Pio himself in his cell or at the altar, offering his suffering for the sake of this departed soul. Those prayers reached the young man. They were like cool water on a burn. They gave him strength. He realized that he wasn't cut off from his family. In fact, He was closer to them now than he had ever been. When he was alive, he was separated by distance, by walls, by the limitations of language. Now he could see their spirits. He could feel their love directly. The angel explained to the soul, "Your death is a severe mercy. Had you stayed longer, the path you were walking might have led you away from the light. The Father took you at the moment your soul was most open to salvation, even if you did not know it. He harvested the fruit before the storm could spoil it." This is a hard truth for us to swallow on earth. We want longevity. We want the full 80 years. But Padre Pio teaches us that God wants us. He wants our souls. And sometimes, in his infinite foreknowledge, he sees that a soul has reached a precise point of ripeness, or perhaps a point of danger where only a sudden exit can save it for eternity. The young man's confusion melted into a profound, humble surrender. He stopped looking back at his broken body. He stopped lamenting the years he wouldn't live. Instead, he turned his face fully toward the light. He accepted his purification. He accepted that his mission on earth was not to build an empire, but to learn to love. And that lesson would now be completed in the realm of spirit. Padre Pio saw the soul of the young man being led by the angel away from the earth, moving deeper into the dimension of God's mercy. The young man looked back one last time, not with longing to return, but with a promise. He spoke to the spirits of his parents, a message they would feel in their hearts as a sudden, inexplicable peace amidst their sorrow. "I am not dead. I have only changed. I am waiting for you. Live well, so that you may join me here." When Padre Pio emerged from this state of prayer, his face was often marked by a mixture of exhaustion and luminous peace. He would go to the parents of such children. He wouldn't always tell them the details of the vision. Sometimes the mysteries were too deep for words, but he would give them the essence of the truth. He would look at a grieving mother and say, "Do not cry for him as if he is lost. He is more alive than you or I. He has simply gone into the next room. If you could see him now, you would not want to bring him back to this valley of tears." Padre Pio taught that for the young who die, the readiness is a mystery of grace. We think they needed more time to get right with God, but God, who is outside of time, can perfect a soul in an instant. A single moment of surrender, a single act of pure love, can outweigh 100 years of mediocre living. The saint also emphasized the ongoing relationship. He told the grieving that their role as parents had not ended. Now, he would say, you must parent his soul. How? Through prayer, through the Holy Mass, through acts of charity done in his name. Padre Pio insisted that the young man he saw was helped immensely by the prayers of his family. It was a collaboration. The family on earth provided the fuel of prayer, and the soul in purgatory used that fuel to fly swiftly toward God. In return, the young man began to intercede for his family. The grace he received in the presence of God was reflected back to earth. Have you ever noticed that after the initial shock of a tragedy, a family sometimes finds a strange, enduring strength? They find they are able to forgive what they thought was unforgivable. They find a depth of faith they didn't know they had. Padre Pio would say this is the work of their departed loved one, praying for them from the other side. The young man, now seeing the truth, becomes a powerful intercessor for those he left behind. So, what do we take away from this? What does Padre Pio want us to understand about the young man taken too soon? First, we must redefine our understanding of a full life. A full life is not 80 years filled with vacations, career milestones, and retirement. A full life, in the eyes of heaven, is a soul that has recognized its Creator. That recognition can happen in 12 years, or in 90. But God is the gardener who knows exactly when the flower is ready to be cut for the master's bouquet. Second, we must realize that confusion at the moment of death is natural, but it is brief for those who have faith. The guardian angel is real. We are never alone in that final transition. We have a guide who knows us, who calms our fears, and who leads us to the truth. We should cultivate a relationship with our guardian angel now, so that when that moment comes, we are meeting an old friend, not a stranger. And finally, we must hold on to the truth that love is the bridge that death cannot burn. The young man in Padre Pio's vision did not stop loving his parents. In fact, his love was purified. It became a holy thing. If you are carrying the heavy burden of grief today, if you are mourning a son, a daughter, a brother, or a friend who left this world before their time, let this vision of Padre Pio settle into your heart. They are not gone into a void. They have stepped out of the shadows and into the reality. They have encountered the light that loves them more than you ever could. Your grief is the price of love, but it is not the end of the story. As Padre Pio would say, pray, hope, and don't worry. Pray for them, for they need your prayers to move through the light. Hope in the reunion that is promised to us, and do not worry about their state, for they are in the hands of the Father who created them. We are all travelers. Some of us have a long journey through the desert. Others are granted a shortcut to the promised land. Let us not envy the shortcut, nor despise the long road, but trust the map maker. The young man is safe, he is home, and he is waiting. Thank you for spending this time with us. If this story has brought a flicker of light to your darkness, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let us keep praying for our departed, and let us live with the readiness that Padre Pio taught, loving deeply, forgiving quickly, and keeping our eyes fixed on the heaven that awaits us all. Until next time, may you walk with your angels.